Group, Schmidt, numbers 10, 17 and 21. Saturday night football. Bandy bouncing. Allen comes in on the angle. Bandy wins it down wide of the pack. Massey slick. Camporelli hurriedly down towards half forward. Murphy missed it. Kickett leads back in the race. Didn't have the ball. Will he get a free kick? No. Play goes on. Bandy dragged down. Parker in trouble. Robbed of it by Brown. Brown on the 50 to Massey again. He's 60 metres from goal. Pulls it back towards the middle. Look at the Blues there. 4 of them. Whitnell waiting down behind. Snaps. He knows where the goals are. Great start.
Yeah, big start for Carlton. That's the one they wanted. Lance Whitnell, just an outstanding player. Read that one off hands. Big pack of players flying for it. He was one who stayed down, read it well, then just knew where those goals were, Dennis. He threw it onto his boot, knew it was going through straight away. See there, he's caught in the middle of the pack, players flying all over him. The Dockers didn't have the numbers on the ground to put the pressure on. Good goal to Whitnell. That's a good start. Quick one to Carlton.
Lance Whitnell, so young but so good. Carlton lead by 6 points. We've played 40 seconds. Allen decisively, Ratton away to Brown again, charging through the centre square. Beaumont couldn't hang on. It spills behind. Whitnell scrambles a kick down towards the goal square. Bond picks it up effectively enough. The hand pass though ineffective. Whitnell, what a dream start. He's kicked 2 in a minute.
And isn't he pumped up? He's really fired up. 2 goals on the board. You'd be pretty happy with that sort of start. Whitnell looking very sharp. The Carlton players running from all over the ground. They're pumped up. They know the results from today's games. They know that could mean a big win tonight, and they're back in the 8, and they want to stay there. And they've really come here with that aim in mind. You can see it's just written all over the way they've started this game. They're really pumped up and going to have a crack at it.
Lance Whitnell, 2 goals in the opening minute, and this centre square is like a runway. The Blues are just taking off. Bandy knocks it down. Murphy gets the hand pass out wide. Fletcher head down, taken high by his namesake, and he'll get the free kick. Plays on, kick it, stabs it inside the centre square. Callahan, probing kick. The Dockers go forward for the first time. McKay knocked it away from Clive, taken by Manton across to Bradley. Bradley across half-back, pulls it back towards the middle, bounces obligingly for Ratton, squares the ball. Murphy has to stretch and takes it. It's at left half-back. Moves play up towards the wing. Massey was high, fingertips to it. Couldn't hang on. Parker with pace. Knocks it across the boundary line.
And then I'll give you the Carlton bench. Sorry, Vance, Sexton, White and Delulio. A couple of handy players there.
And Dennis, there's some interesting matchups in Carlton's defence. Silvani, as you said, has got Modra. Manton's picking up Paul Maher, who's come back from a knee reconstruction. Also, McKay's gone with the dangerous Waterhouse.
Heath Black hurriedly onto the boot. On towards half forward. Rice! What a mark. A Cadbury's contender right there.
Yeah, certainly good body use against his opponent in Callahan. And also Weir's back there picking up Bradley, who started across half-back.
Nelson, long kick inside the 50. Whitnell approaches the ball. Carroll fired up, knocked it away. Fletcher stumbling, falls over, gets to his feet. Still Fletcher, deep in his own defensive area. Moves it about 10 metres to kick it. Hand passes to Parker. Parker out wide. Harding's got the run of it. Didn't have the ball. Picked up by Bond. Lappin's got him. Dragged him down. Good tackle too. Hamill got it across towards a teammate there, and the short pass from Brown finds Murphy.
Unbelievable awareness there on that occasion. Brown could have easily gone to his right side, but he saw, as the ball was in flight, the ball was given by hand by his teammate. Obviously, while the ball was in flight, he saw Murphy drop back off the pack, got behind the Fremantle defence. Good vision there by Brown, good ball use, and smart play by Murphy to find a hole in Carlton's forward line.
This would be the dream start. If Murphy can score from here. Good looking kick. I think it's okay. It's a goal. I've got 3.
That is an enormous start from the Carlton team. Have a look at the centre clearances already. It's Carlton 3, Fremantle 0. Just the start that Carlton team wanted. Whenever a visiting team comes to Western Australia, most coaches place an enormous emphasis on the start just to try to get the crowd influence out of the contest. But Murphy, who started centre wing, he's actually drifted forward to play more like a half-forward flanker because Carlton's forward structures, most of their players are deep in their forward line.
Got to say, Carlton have a terrific record travelling to Perth. The best of any of the interstate teams. And they lead by 18 points. They've got a flyer. Bandy knocks it down. Picked up by Ship. Callahan, the high kick down towards half foot. Waterhouse drops the mark. Still some time to recover. McKay, they soccers it away. Good aggression across half back. The hand pass a little wide of the mark. Fletcher got an unkind bounce. Kick it. The clever hand pass to Clucas. Clucas gets it across to a teammate who boots inside the 50. That was Ma. Opportunity behind. Now to be picked up by Rice. Rice heads for the boundary line. It bounces across the line in front of Manton.
And I wouldn't be surprised at all, Dennis, to see Damien Drum react to the speed of Waterhouse to get him deep alongside Modra, because McKay over the first 3 or 4 strides takes a while to get going. Waterhouse is exceptionally quick.
Bradley kicking towards the outer side. Parker arrives quickly. Currently 9 degrees. It'll get down to 2. It's pretty cold for the Dockers right now. Waterhouse being held. He'll get a free kick. You've just got to argue the wisdom of that, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely holding him out of the contest, and Waterhouse is working hard. That's what he's got to do. Be around the ball most times that it's heading into the Fremantle forward line and fight hard to be in front and give a real contest. They've got some good crummers down there. If he can't take the mark, get it on the ground for his little blokes.
Clive Waterhouse directly in front, kicks from 45, and he likes it off the boot. It's a goal. They needed that one.
That's the steadying goal that Fremantle needed. Just closes down the run that Carlton had. We saw the centre clearances, the first 3 bounce downs out of the centre. Carlton got them all away. Fremantle fought back that time. Callahan getting the kick, got the Dockers going forward, and they've capitalised. They've got the goal on the board. Now they'll settle down and make a real contest with Carlton. Should be a good game tonight because both sides got plenty of run.
So the margin is 12 points. Carlton on top. Fremantle getting their first goal from a free kick to Clive Waterhouse. Bandy knocks it down, goes again. Murphy in the road though. Looping hand pass. Hickmott played it very nicely. Comes away from the centre square. Lappin. Oh, that's a terrific catch. It was more a catch than a mark.
It was a pretty strong mark, and that may test Bond. We know how tight Bond plays.
Lappin, the short one. Beaumont over his head, close to the boundary line. Whitnell can't keep it in.
And just some of those matchups in Carlton's forward line. Carroll's got the job on Whitnell's, who's kicked 2 goals in the opening stanza. Beaumont's playing out of the goal square. He's been picked up by Clement. Hamill's opposed to Parker. And Murphy across half forwards now being picked up by Kickett.
Brown, Bond, timely hand in there. Kickett falling to the ground. Well played to Fletcher. Comes away and boots it towards midfield. Callahan waits for it. Loose ball at the back. Ma coming through. Couldn't control it. Rice grabs it and kicks it directly to Kickett. But it's a relayed free kick. Rice put down. Kick goes down towards the pocket then. And the mark and/or free kick is paid to Hickmott or Whitnell.
Whitnell, yeah, it's a good kick. Just got it out in front. Whitnell leading very, very hard. And those kicks are spot on. Makes it very hard for the backman to get a fist in there.
It was Fletcher who kicked it to him. So Whitnell going at his 3rd goal, kicking from right on the 50, about 10 metres in from the line. And I think he's missed to the near side. A bit of pushing and shoving in the square, but it amounts to nothing.
Just watching Whitnell on that occasion, Woosha, he just really held his ground. He knew the space was in front of him. He wasn't sort of perturbed about his opponent being alongside him. He stood there, treaded water, and then when he had to lead, he led very quickly.
This is Harding in the back pocket. Not a pretty good crowd tonight. These late starts haven't deterred too many people, as it's directed down there by Allen. The hand pass from Fletcher to Black. It's a hot ball. It comes back to Fletcher. Fletcher just forward at half-back. Smothered there by Murphy. Brilliantly done. And look at the Carlton players go in. It's going to be a free kick to Fletcher, which I've got to say he certainly earned it.
Yeah, he certainly did, Dennis. Have a look at this contest. Good work there by Murphy to lay the smother. But Fletcher on that occasion was involved about 3 or 4 efforts, and he was rewarded with the free kick merely because he put his head in the hole, prepared to sacrifice his body to get the free kick.
Fletcher has started very well, driving the ball down towards half forward and Marr. Over the top came Manton. Callahan keeps it alive just inside the boundary. Manton runs back, gathers the ball. Is at left half back, stops, kicks it up towards the wing. Lappin missed it. He's going to get a free. Advantage is paid. Nelson finishes up with the ball. He got it from Hamill. Kicks inside the 50. Clement came up, dropped the ball. Now he breaks away, shows a fair degree of pace and chips it out wide. Harding right on the line. Takes the mark. Carlton by 13 points. Waterhouse up ahead. That'll be an interesting duel. McKay and Waterhouse. McKay in very good form. Waterhouse has it knocked away by Rice coming over the top. Boundary throw in centre wing. Just over 13 minutes to go in this first term.
Dennis, the Dockers bench for you. McManus, Mann, Gale has started there, and Sinclair.
Anxiety on those faces. A few of them waiting for their chance. I think Con's too old. Lucas battling with Brown. Ratton smothered off the boot. Ricochets towards Massey. Pushed in the back. He'll get the free kick.
There's some interesting rotations in midfield already. Camporelli's running all over the ground. He's been picked up by young Walker. Brown's been picked up by young Ship.
Oh. That's a very good mark by Aaron Hamill.
Here's a jumping jack.
Yeah, considering the quality of the opposition, though, rare that Parker gets cleanly outmarked like that. Lovely centering kick. And Fletcher's got the ball now. Simon Fletcher, who did so well on Scott West. Tagged him out of the game last week against the Western Bulldogs. Little chip back inside the 50. He can't do it twice, surely. Parker knocked it away from Hamill that time. Picked up by Allen. This is bending back. Hit the post. Halfway up.
And that's what Bandy's got to be really conscious of. Allen will push forward into Carlton's forward 50. He's got to be aware of where Allen's positioning is, because on the way through, Carlton will look for him just for the change of direction, because his height's a critical factor. And more often than not, they'll try to kick the ball high in the air so he can become a marking target.
Clement. Carlton up by 14 points. Kicking towards the outer side. Whitnell knocking away from Bandy. Picked up by Brown in everything. Camporelli. This is Fletcher. 52 metres out. Fletcher lines up, but misses everything. Out of bounds on the full.
It was a poor setup there, Fletcher. He should have had the shot at goal, but just a bad disposal. Got to make the most of those opportunities.
Nice kick from Kickett coming in. Fletcher to Holland. He breaks away. This is Holland running up towards the wing and kicking towards half forward. Oh! Marr up very high. McKay at the back. This ball just outside the attacking 50 for the Dockers. Harding kicks it inside the 50. Callahan's got it. Fumbles after he played on. Rice arrived. Couldn't prevent him having a kick. It bounces down towards full forward and through for a behind. Fremantle moved to 7 points now. 1-1. And Carlton, a flying start by the Blues. 3-2. The opening 3 goals of the game. Welcome to doubleheader Saturday night from the WACA ground. A cold night in Perth. It's certainly red hot to start of the Blues. Here's Modra pulling it back towards the middle. McKay's in the road. Whitnell had 2 goals in the opening minute of the game. Hickmott. Now Camporelli breaks away from the back pocket and goes towards the outer side wing. Clement goes back and claims it. Fitness committee alongside John Worsfold and Michael McGuan. Kick comes back towards the middle. This is Marr. Great to see him back. Did his knee last season. Round 17. Lucas up towards centre half forward. Goes for distance down towards the pocket. Plenty of Blues get back. Modra, his right hand of the ball. It runs on across the boundary line. 10.5 minutes to go in the opening term. Fremantle won the toss. They're going left to right.
And it was pretty evident then, John, just watching that set play situation. Carlton players in Bradley specifically dropped off their opponent, filling that hole so Modra couldn't lead into the space provided.
Silvani comes away. He's got the job on Modra tonight. Kicking towards the outer side. Whitnell pushing up the ground. Wants to go, and he does, to Ratton. Ratton, the defensive side of the wing, down towards half forward. Lappin under the ball. Kickett almost the mark. Recovers pretty well. Kickett comes away. The hand pass inside the centre square. Walker's got the run of it. Breaks away. Probing kick inside the 50. Modra comes to the bouncing ball. Brilliantly picked up back there by Manton. Rice in the back pocket then, across the goal face. precise. This is Murphy. Murphy wants to go. Ratton. He's at half back. They've got the loose man. He kicks it up towards the wing. Black couldn't get across in time. The mark is taken by Lappin. Lappin, the short one. Bounces down towards half forward. Hamill steps aside to allow Camporelli to come through. Camporelli from on the 50. Unlucky bounce behind.
He's running very hard tonight, Camporelli. He's obviously got a free rein. Cover the ground. We've seen him clearing the ball out of their defensive 50. That time having a shot at goal. He's a good athlete, very quick. And the Dockers won't want him to getting too much of that football out in space.
So the Blues by 14 points. Clement comes broadcast side with a high ball. Waiting behind Fletcher, who started very well. Has a bounce inside the centre square. Kicks inside the 50. Waterhouse drops an easy mark. Should have hung on to that. McKay, surprised by it all, coughed it up. Wira gets it across to Fletcher, dragged down by Bradley. Comes to Waterhouse, getting a hand in there and doing very well. Initially was Hitmont, picked up by Ship though. 30 metres out, Dockers get their second.
Good play by young Ship. He is a quality footballer, there's no doubt about that. He's going to develop into a classy player. Just coming through under pressure in that forward line, a clean pickup, and then just the cool head to balance, get himself set, knowing that he's going to have a shot at goal. He's got to finish it off. Adrian Fletcher involved in a lot of that passage of play. He's working extremely hard, picked up by Nelson and really starting to set up a lot of the play for the Dockers. Sure, that will be addressed by the Carlton side.
4 kicks, 4 hand passes for Adrian Fletcher. 3-3-2-1. Fremantle settling now. Had reason to be rattled. Klukas, the look away hand pass. Harding from the wing inside the 50. Silvani battles down there with Modra. Modra kept his footing. Picked up by Holland. Couldn't get out of there. It spills across to Callahan. Callahan to Marr. Marr snaps and misses.
It just makes such a difference getting the ball going forward from the centre clearances, centre bounce downs. Puts the opposition under so much pressure immediately, and that's what Fremantle are going to have to really work hard to match Carlton in that centre square.
It's also evident that David Parkin will be concerned with the speed of the Fremantle Dockers. They're trying to save as much leg as possible. Brown's already gone to a forward pocket to rest.
Rice to Murphy. Up towards left half back. No breeze tonight, very still as the kick comes up towards the wing. Awkward bounce. Beaumont played it pretty well. Clement bearing down. Beaumont looking for Allen. It's across the boundary line. 8 goals a fortnight ago, all in the first half against Collingwood. He started deep in attack, but he's worked his way up the ground, contesting that time on the wing. Heads back to half forward. Meantime, Bandy and Allen. Allen reaches over the top. Well played. A couple of hand passes combining there Ratton and Massey. Now a chance for Murphy. Murphy down towards the attacking 50. Whitnell, surely a free kick, nothing doing. Beaumont had it, lost it, close to the boundary line. Clement goes down. Fraser Brown confronted by Bond. A couple of tough cookies. And a throw-in.
Now it looks like Craig Bradley's come off half-back. He's gone into the centre part of the ground. It looks like he's trying to get onto Adrian Fletcher because Wira started on Bradley across half-back. Obviously, Parkin and the Carlton match committee are trying to break that tag.
Holland going through. Fletcher once more falling to the ground. Got it to Holland. Off his step. Prods it back towards the middle. Releasing Bandy. The big man's away. Kicks to midfield. Marr was up. Couldn't hang on. Taken by Wira. Quickly got it away. Parker. Still Parker in the centre square to Bond on the overlap. Bond kicks inside the 50. Waterhouse again drops the mark. Recovers pretty well. Bearing down McKay. McKay drags him off the ball. Shows great courage then. Dives on top of it but flicks it out deliberately.
He's actually called it a throw, Dennis, by the looks of things because it won't go to the actual boundary line. The umpire deemed that...
Well, it's going to be a throw, deliberate out of bounds, or if he had kept it there, he was going to be holding the ball anyway. So the only option he had was to knock it back into the corridor, which would have been dangerous as well.
I think we agree it was a bad scene.
He was in a bit of strife.
So Clive Waterhouse, 33 goals on the season, coming into this one. Got the opening goal for the Dockers. This one slides across the face and a behind.
And that matchup looks already an outstanding one. Waterhouse versus McKay. Both very physically hard at the contest. Just looks like the speed of Waterhouse might be a concern for Andrew McKay as the game goes on.
He's dropped 3 marks and he's got his hands clearly too already, hasn't he? He's got to hold them, and that will hurt McKay.
Camporelli out of defence, high towards the wing. Clement, but knocked away by Beaumont, who eventually claimed front position. Clement in trouble. Beaumont came back strongly, holding the ball. Well played. Simon Beaumont worked hard for front spot and then really gave a contest when the ball was on the ground. Watch this again.
Yeah, that's just terrific persistence. A couple of times it looked like Clement was going to get away, but Beaumont never gave up the cause. And that's been a delight to see. The Carlton tackling in this opening stanza, they've been very good in their approach at the body of the opposition.
Beaumont long towards half forward. Whitnell worked under the ball. Bradley loose on the 50, hard against the boundary line, pulls it back towards the middle. It's a high ball. Lappin and kick it. Loose ball runs towards goal initially, taken by Allen. That was ambitious. Holland got in the road. Gives it across to Parker. Parker out of the back pocket. Back up towards the wing. Beaumont was being held. No free kick. Goes again. Slaps it away. To the advantage though of Fletcher. Falling to the ground. He hand passes across towards Clucas. Coming through as Ratton. Clucas did well. Against the flow was Nelson. Diving in there is Clucas. We're there as well. We've got a whistle and the ball up. And that was quality stuff. Plenty of application.
That move that you mentioned before, we knew Fletcher was right on top of Nelson early, and the move of getting Bradley up the ground, he wasn't getting into play with Wirra matching him up, so it's got a double benefit moving Bradley onto Fletcher. It gets Bradley into the game and hopefully nullifies Fletcher's influence.
Bounce on the wing. Whitnell slaps it down. Murphy picks it up. Back to Whitnell. Backs off the pack. He's got problems now. Goes to Bradley. Fremantle applying good pressure at the moment. The kick comes down towards half forward. Heath Black's got it. Camporelli pleading for a free kick. Meantime, kick it goes across to Harding. Harding the high ball down to half forward. Hitting the pack hard was Mann. Knocking away McKay. Standing up in a tackle was Rice. Bounces the ball only as far as Clucas. 55 metres out. Looks for Modra. And that's a very good grab. It was coming low and hard. And he took it cleanly.
Yeah, terrific play there by Clucas. Good evasive ability initially, but that's a terrific finish from a midfielder. That's what full forwards like to see. The ball come in low and flat. You don't have to break stride so you can jump at the flight of the ball and still reach it at its optimum levels. Tony Modra should kick from this position the Fremantle Dockers' third goal.
67 goals for the season. His best effort against Carlton, 13 back in round 1, 1994 at Footy Park, and he's on the board tonight.
Good kick by Tony Modra to finish off. A good passage of play. Clucas finding it hard to get himself into the game up until this stage, but on that occasion, once he got possession, stayed cool, found the opening. You see, takes the ball, breaks through a tackle, runs into the opening spot, and then just a beautiful little chip kick out in front of Modra, who had to be flat out because Silvani was right on his tail and took a strong mark under a lot of pressure and finished it off like he should.
Full credit to the Dockers. Conceded the opening 3 goals. They got the last 3. Those first 3 came very quickly. Allen hooks it down behind. Then grabs it and kicks inside the 50. Whitnell working against Carroll. Parker taken front on. Shrugs off the tackle. Brown looking for a shortcut. Couldn't get through.
Just over the last 5 or so minutes, Carlton have reacted by having kick it across half back. He's a terrific rebounding defender. There he is on screen. He's gone back to basically play as a full back because Lappin's playing from the goal square. It was originally Beaumont who was picked up by Clement.
Whitnell, nicely done to Massey. Hooks it around Bacon square. Takes a Carlton bounce. It's a goal.
Just a reply Carlton needed. They jumped into this contest exceptionally well. Whitnell kicking the first 2 goals, followed up by Murphy. Then Fremantle responded. They kicked the next 3 consecutive goals. Now Massey, a young player who's probably taken a little bit of time to mature, but he's starting to get a feel for the game. He's got the job on Black, obviously playing across half back. That's an interesting contest.
(4-3 to 3-3), just over 4 minutes till quarter time. Doubleheader Saturday night from the WACA ground in Perth. This has started well. Bandy only as far as Murphy. Camporelli hooks it down towards half forward. This is Parker. Out of defence, a high kick back towards the wing. Coming to meet it is Clucas. Going to knock it away as Rice. Rice back on the ball. Clucas back on him. Back towards the boundary. Carlton will work it out. Allen got the hand pass across to support and Fletcher. Beaumont gathers the bouncing ball. Hand passes inside the centre square. Taken by Brown, who goes off a step inside the 50. Takes a high bounce. Kick it. Covering nicely. Almost blanketed. Gets the ball across towards Harding. And it runs across the line.
And John, because Kickett's gone back to play on Lappin in that part of the ground. Bond was his original opponent. Now he's pushed up into midfield because Bradley's gone to Fletcher. Bond's now gone to Ratton, who's had a fair amount of the foot. He's had 6 touches. That's good coaching there by Drum, trying to nullify the influence of Ratton in midfield.
Brown got it to Beaumont, but Black took the mark. Bandy at centre half back. Across to Fletcher. Kicking out wide. Wirra had it knocked away by Nelson. Nelson, the good recovery, gets it to Murphy. Back it comes to Hickmott. There's a man on the overlap out wide. There's still, that's Manton. Manton prods it down inside the 50, and that's a terrific mark. And very close to 50, I'd suggest.
Yeah, very, very strong mark, Lance Whitnell. He's started the game in outstanding fashion. We know he got the first 2 goals on the board, fed out the last handball to set up another goal. And this is coming up for his 8th possession. He's had 4 kicks and 3 handballs already. Looks like a real dangerous player.
Lance Whitnell is putting it to the top of the square. Allen up, couldn't hang on. Loose ball at the back. Hickmott falling to the ground. Hand pass came from Fletcher to Brown to Massey. Massey 35 metres out, has kicked his second, has he? It's close, it's good.
Once again, that was just a half kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, just propped it up. Obviously, they rate the marking ability of the Carlton forwards, and they have got some very good marks up there. Apart from Whitnell, who was the one who kicked it in, Big Allen, he was the one that was obviously targeted to fly for it. The other players knew that they had to stay on the ground around the contest. They had the numbers there, just played it very well to end up with a goal from that kick. From Whitnell's kick coming in, that was always going to be a tough one.
Chris Massey getting his chance and taking it tonight. He's booted 2, the last 2 in this game. Bandy tried to take clean possession. Ship ran into a dead end. Down he went. Ship happens. It's picked up by Black. Across it comes to Bandy. Hand passes out wide. Walker nicely done. This is Fletcher. Across to Black. Forward of the wing. Kicks inside the 50. In from the side, Ma missed it completely, fell at their feet, picked up by Rice. Out of the congestion, back to Bandy. Bandy 65 metres out. Well done by that defender going back. Knocked it away from Callahan. Meantime, they work it out with a hand pass wide. That was Massey, I think, close to the boundary line. Picked up by Harding. Bends it around. Now Rice. That's better. Spotted Brown, but too much carry on the kick. Kick it to Bandy. Inside the centre square. Chance for the Dockers right here. Gets it to Black. Black back towards Kickett. That made it awkward. Lappin gave a contest. Black's over the ball. Hamill's over him. Ball up. Holding the ball. Holding the ball's the call against Black. Free kick to the Blues. David Parkin down on the boundary.
And there's another example. You can't afford to turn the footy over in midfield. The pressure just doubles. Hence the case. Carlton really applied that defensive pressure and got the free kick from the reward and effort they put into that contest.
Hickmott to Allen. Allen, little chip inside the 50. Whitnell being held. No free. Loose ball at the back. Nelson stepped on the ball. Picked up by Ship. Out of defence. Back towards Bandy. And Bandy takes a good grab. Just moments ago, across half back. Who was that Carlton player?
Yeah, it was
Camporelli, was it?
Pushed back in front of Callahan. Great work.
Was indeed. Who was that last man? There's Bandy up towards the wing. Well done by Manton. Camped in front, Wirra. Out wide it comes. Taken by Bond. In real trouble. Strong tackle holding the ball. Free kick to Ratton.
Yeah, and that's one of Brett Ratton's strengths. Terrific body player. Really works hard defensively. That's why he's held in high regard at Carlton.
Dying seconds of the term. Camporelli picks it up. Feeds it off. Hand pass from Massey over the top to Hamill to Camporelli. 65 metres from goal. The siren will sound any moment now. It's over. Quarter time. As the Blues were attacking. Expressionless is David Parkin. Interesting affair. The goals coming in surges. The Blues getting the opening 3. Fremantle the next 3, and Carlton the last 2. And at quarter time, it's 5-3 to 3-3. Massey's got 2, and Whitnell has 2. Massey the last 2, Whitnell the first 2. Adrian Fletcher, 12 possessions to quarter time. Massey's had 9. Justin Murphy's had 9. It's tight. Around the edges, Adrian Fletcher has seen most of the ball. But the combined totals of the Carlton players would go over the top of him. Start of the second term. 5-3 to 3-3. Bandy goes up and slaps it down wide. Picked up again by Fletcher. Across to Holland on the wing, kicking down towards half forward. Maher on the lead takes it. He's about 52 metres out from goal. Wheels around immediately, and Waterhouse takes a divot. It will kick it goal from about 35.
Once again, the influence of Adrian Fletcher getting the ball in congestion and releasing the ball by hand to the advantage of his teammate. McManus has now come onto the ground. He'll just add probably to more concerns for Carlton because he's a terrific cover of the ground, very quick and runs long.
The number 1 pick in the 95 draft is Wayward. Behind. That would have been handy. Great start to the second term. Wasn't to be. The margin is 11 points.
Because Murphy had 9 possessions in the first quarter, he's been opposed and picked up by Chris Bond. Now Bond went to Ratton probably the 15-20 minute mark of the first quarter. Now he's got the job on Justin Murphy.
Nelson kicks out towards the 50. It was precise. Camporelli's got it. Camporelli up from the back pocket. Short. Silvani. Offensive side of centre half back, prods it up towards the defensive 50. Hickmott on his knees, back to Silvani. Eventually they clear the zone. Long kick from Silvani, ill-directed though, and Parker gets across and marks in front of Hamill. Shane Parker back towards the middle. McManus on the ground now, takes it and plays on, kicks inside the 50. Chance for Bandy at the back right here, runs onto the loose ball, should have got the hand pass away, does now. Modra kicks the goal. His second.
Well, it was a good release eventually by Bandy. It took a long time, but very lucky in getting that handball out to Modra. Modra was in good position to take it. But we heard Adrian Barry say the Carlton players have been instructed to kick it long down the centre. Silvani did have the option of going very, very wide out to Manton. Decided to break through the centre and kick it long. He needed a target. Whitnell was too far back. He needed to come up the ground, give him a bit more of a target. And there was a turnover. Fremantle took it down and kicked the goal.
Tony Modra has 69 goals for the season. What a pickup he's been in a struggling team. 5 points the difference, 5-3, 4-4. Enthralling duel this one. Won by Allen this time. Run over was Black. He's going to get a free kick. Bearing down on Black was Brown. Black comes out wide. This is Holland on the wing. Kicks inside the 50. It's very high. Modra kept at the back there. Fisted away by a defender down to McKay. It was Manton. The kick comes out wide then towards the wing. Black once more. Hard against the line. Did well. Kept it alive. Gets it to Clucas. And Clucas has got this one about 65 metres out. Now told to play on. Fraser Brown snuck up on him. This is Fletcher back towards the middle, ill-directed. Hamill put his body in. Clucas does well, hit it hard, gets it away to Holland. Holland about 60 metres out, too tall for Clyde. It's loose at the back, taken there by McKay, stood up in the tackle, got it across to Nelson. Nelson the high kick, flooding it back towards the defensive 50. The leap came from Fletcher. The judgment was Harding's. He's taken the mark. White on the 50 will kick from 55.
Yeah, terrific mark there by Harding, but poor chip kick over the man on the mark by Holland. Just low percentage. Kick to a short contest like that, more often than not a turnover is created.
Harding towards the kick-off line. Maher was up, fisted away by the defence though, wide by Hamill. Over the ball, Hickmott picked up there by Silvani. Interesting hand pass right back towards the middle. Grabbing it now is Bandy, off to Ship. Ship from 45. Has missed to the right. Interesting handball, that one.
Yeah, interesting handball. So funny, you're right, Dennis. Just handballed it straight back into the corridor, which is always a place where you don't want the ball to go in that situation. Really should have tried to turn and go towards the boundary line, but luckily Fremantle didn't capitalise, only with a point.
Silvani intended for Nelson, bounces wide of the target again. Bandy, Callahan. Now wide is still to McManus, pulls back towards the middle, likes his chances from here, and he misses to the near side.
You probably could have done a little bit better on that occasion. McManus did all the hard work as Hamill was coming from the ground. Had a couple of players free. Adam White's coming onto the ground. He'll push probably to half forward where Aaron Hamill was playing.
Nelson going for distance towards the outer side. Manton, good grab. Is it left half back? Plays on. Cruising past his Camporelli. Camporelli, the long kick down towards half forward. Tailor-made for Allen. Couldn't complete the mark, but it falls to Beaumont. Hard against the boundary line. Kicks inside the 50. Whitnell missed it. And the ball bounces across the line, but it's a free kick. Whitnell to get it.
The umpire overruled the umpire who's actually in control of the play. The umpire coming from the centre of the ground. Obviously, one umpire didn't think it was a free kick. One did.
Not much to it, but Bradley's got it now. The hands were on the back, but I'm not sure they were pushing.
Once again, it just comes back to the positioning of the umpire. The one in the forward zone didn't think it was a free kick, but the umpire, as John said, gave the decision from the centre field.
If they dusted him for Prince, there would have been finger marks there. No risk. Here's Bradley. Just inside the 50. It's a high ball. Has it got the carry? I think it has. I think it's okay. Another goal for the Blues.
Just an amazing athlete, Craig Bradley. 35 years of age. He just gets into the right spot to receive merely because he covers the ground. He's got that combination still at his age of speed plus endurance. And also he can still kick the ball sort of 50 metres accurately. And that's a terrific ability to have at that age. When you get around the 30 age bracket, John, you tend to lose a little bit of distance with your kicking. But Bradley's such a fit athlete, professional at what he does. Been a champion for a long time.
So the Blues increase their lead. Back out to 9 now. Bandy only as far as Brown. Hand passes towards the voice and Ratton. Ratton swings it out very wide towards the wing. It'll pitch just inside the boundary and run away from Walker.
Dan, getting pretty cold down here at the moment. Geez, Brad Wirra has come off. He's on the bench for Freo along with Mark Gale, Peter Mann and Jess Sinclair.
Thanks, Barra. So boundary throw in on the wing. Allen and Bandy. Bandy in front. Allen reaches over the top. Knocks it down. Hickmott goes to ground. Still a live ball. Ship falling to the ground. Walker. Holland. Sold a teammate into trouble, but Fletcher did brilliantly. Got the ball away and a trice there to Black, and Black pulls it back towards the kickoff line. Clears the two men down there, Maher and Manton, and runs out of bounds in the opposite pocket.
That's a classy handball from Adrian Fletcher. Under enormous pressure, still able to get his hand on it and feed it out. That was position number 15. He's a real thorn for Carlton at the moment, just playing an outstanding game.
Boundary throw in. Waterhouse missed it. Fell in front. Waterhouse put the body in. Well played. Rice, the crumb though, deep in his own defensive area, sends play back towards half back. Bandy almost caught it between his shins and will have a ball up.
Fremantle still missing a few of their opportunities. We've seen them have a few shots at goal this quarter and miss those chances, and a few drop marks. In the first quarter it was Waterhouse who let 3 go through his hands, and just situations like that, Bandy as the ruckman has to stand up and take those marks.
Must-win game for the Blues, this one. They can't give away the advantage they got this afternoon. Fletcher cleverly. Black. Distance won't be a problem.
And smart play there by Black. He's opposed to Fraser Brown. Brown actually went to the contest when the umpire was about to bounce the ball. Black played the percentages, sucked off the contest, got into the lateral position of the ground, so the change direction was always on. Smart play. Should finish with a goal.
Sounds like a Tarantino movie. Black getting away from Brown. Here's Mr. Black from right on the 50. Let's go. Lovely kick. Straight through the middle.
That's a great kick from Heath Black. He's really given that everything he had, kicking from outside 50. And just got onto it nice and sweetly. It sailed straight through. Never looked like missing. Just see as he lines it up. Really launched into it, put his whole momentum into getting the distance and cleared it. Cleared the pack. He was pretty happy with that, and that's the goal that they needed to get.
In their midfield dominance, Black, Fletcher, Brodie Holland are starting to take control. It's 17 possessions to 5 this quarter.
Good game of footy. Both sides having their moments. Rucks go at it again. Allen hooks it down. Clucas put the body in. Walker ran into a dead end. Dragged down by Ratton. Brown crashes over the top. Whistle. Bounce alongside the centre circle.
Fremantle really taking up Carlton's strength. We heard was their midfield. They're taking it up, trying to match them there.
Bandy only as far as Ratton, hurriedly kicking it down towards half forward. Ball spills out the back, taken away by McManus. Bandy getting away from Allen this time, kicking towards half forward, and the mark is taken by Holland. 55 metres out, man on in the middle. Well, he goes wider still. That wasn't the one I was looking at. He spots Bond, who plays on to Fletcher. Fletcher holds up outside the 50 and goes across to Harding. No closer to goal. He's about 55 metres out.
You can actually hear the crowd getting involved with the effort from the Fremantle Dockers, but obviously Damien Drum wants them to change direction at every opportunity.
The kick inside the 50. The mark is taken by Murphy. Actually, last Sunday, you could hear them abusing their television sets in Perth if they drove the streets. Here's a chance for Bradley. Dragged down, and a free kick is going to Craig Bradley.
Yeah, too high in the contest. He was prepared to put his head over the footy, as we see here. Kept his eyes on the ball. Ducked his head a little bit. Bond crashed into his head. Whether it was incidental contact or not, free kick was still warranted.
That's it. He hadn't straightened up, had he? He was still over in the motion of picking up the ball, so you've got to protect them.
Bradley from half back, a high ball towards the wing. Reaching over the top was Allen. Lost it, I think, in the lights. Waiting down behind Fletcher. The hand pass sold Black into trouble close to the boundary line. Brown grabs it. Hand passes back to Fletcher. Breaks the tackle. Gets it across to Callaghan. Callahan's high ball wanders over the wing. Chance for Holland. Pushed down by Bond. Bradley came through, picked it up, laid it off into the path of Nelson. Nelson the kick down towards half forward, and Ratton coming back was Harding. He missed everybody. Ratton dragged down by Clucas. It spills across to Rice, and Rice goes in short and finds de Julio.
And Harding's injured off the ball. He got contacted in that contest. Maybe from Ratton, you see him in the hands of trainers deep in the forward pocket of Carlton. Here's de Julio kicking to a lead. Goes
short, intended, I think, for White. In trouble, White. The hand pass comes back. Fletcher dragged down de Julio. They're going backwards. Massey grabs it, kicks to the pocket. That's better. And Brown's got it about 25 metres out from goal. The ribs were lower there for Greg Harding.
He came flying through, running back into a contest, got some contact, and really felt the pain straight away.
Fraser Brown, meantime, bends it around nicely, stabs at goalward, and gets one.
Just steered that through nicely. Fraser Brown just fighting back now, because the Fremantle midfielders were starting to get right on top. And Adrian Fletcher's up to 19 possessions. Fraser Brown now had 11 himself between those players. It's a real shootout at the moment from the midfield. And if one of those midfield stays on top and starts to dominate over the 4 quarters, I think that's going to show which team will be in front when that final siren sounds.
The Blues on top. They lead 7-3 to 5-6. 10.5 minutes out from halftime. Doubleheader Saturday night from the WACA ground in Perth. Allen did well, hit it hard, hand passes towards half forward. Guess who? Fletcher. What a game he's playing. Kicks it down towards the half forward line. Awkward half volley for Callaghan. Got the hand pass away. Rice put the body in. Came back to Callaghan. Hand passes towards the 50. Going back is Massey. Showed a lot of courage. Got it to Matt. Now it comes to Fletcher. Fletcher boots it around the outer side. Allen goes up uncontested. Hit the ground running the big man. Goes down towards half forward. Ratton has it now. Coming up for his 9th possession. Probing kick inside the 50. Beaumont launched himself. Knocked it down to his own advantage. Knocked away by Clement. Picked up by Bond. Taken front on by Camporelli. And we'll have a bounce just inside the 50.
Yeah, that thrust forward all started from Chris Massey. His courage across half back. Really put his head over the footy and released the ball by hand. Also on the forward 50. The defensive pressure from the Carlton forwards was also good to lock it in their area to give them another opportunity to maybe set something up from this ball up.
Allen with the backhand this time. Holland, nicely done to Black. Back to Holland. Running away from half-back, down towards half-forward. Manton, a defiant fist, knocks it down in front. McManus inside the centre square with company. Hickmott dragged him down. It spills wide to Harding. He seems to be okay. The kick comes inside the 50. McKay now turned around. A chance for Waterhouse to run him down. McKay kept it in, got it to Massey, playing a good game. Untidy hand pass, though. Shipped to Waterhouse. Waterhouse to Modra. Modra turns around. There's a man on in the square. Gets a lovely little bounce. Maher turns around, kicks a goal. Less than a goal in it.
Goal for goal.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, but as we said, Mick, it's a bit of a shootout. Midfielders getting plenty of the ball from both sides, getting it going forward. Good awareness by Modra on that occasion. Grabbed the handball. It was they worked it forward well. We just see good turnover here. Ship's always aware of what's around him. Waterhouse got the long one forward. Modra could have blazed away. Ended up just chipping it. Saw Maher there, and Maher wasn't going to miss from there. Finished it off very well.
.45 plays 42. Good bounce in the middle. Bandy this time. Brown. Black trying to go through. Taken front on there by Ratton.
And Dennis, Greg Harding has come off the ground and he's actually gone into the rooms. Looks like he got a fairly solid whack in the ribs, as he said.
It's Barrett. Umpire Scroop to bounce it down alongside the centre circle. Carlton by 3 points. They led by 18 in the early going. Opening 3 goals of the game. Allen hooks it down. Brown hurriedly across the body into the path of DeUlio, met solidly by McManus. Spills come across to kick it on his own defensive 50. Kickett's hand pass high. McManus, explain that. Ronnie DeUlio came off the ropes and took him down, and it's holding the ball, is it?
It is holding the ball. The umpires deemed that McManus had a chance to get rid of it, which I don't know if he did. He had to jump in. He was always going to get tackled as soon as he landed.
I think McManus was trying to get across to the corner to tag Fletcher. Here's a chance. The hand pass comes from Beaumont now. Back towards Ratton. Did he have the ball? Didn't appear to. Down goes Clement. And we'll have a bounce. Well, you won't find that tackle from Ronnie in the textbooks. But you've got to improvise sometimes. I think it was a step over Grapevine. There's the bounce about 30 metres out. Tapped down. It was Allen that time. McManus taking the ground again. Bouncing around down there. Allen kept it alive, but only as far as Walker. That's better. Walker to kick it. Breaks away from half-back. Nicely done. Uses the ball brilliantly coming up. Got it to Holland. Bandy, he's taken off. Bandy through the centre square. Untidy kick. Waterhouse made it look okay. Holland has it now, intent on drawing Fletcher. That's Carlton's Fletcher. The hand pass, though, not too good towards Gale. Bounced away from him. Taken by McKay. Goes across to Carlton's Fletcher once more. Around the outer side. He kicks it down towards half-forward. Carroll goes back. Fingertips to it. Couldn't hang on. Whitnall's got him. Dragged him down. Now the Dockers Fletcher falls over. The hand pass was stifled. Coming through is Hamill. Hamill quickly away. This is Massey going at his 3rd goal. Sets it up. It's turning. It's bending in the air. It's good.
Well, great response. Good play by Carlton. They kept the pressure on. Kept the intensity up. You really have noticed that in the last 5 minutes, their tackling intensity has really lifted again. They're rushing at the man with the ball, putting a lot of pressure on. And this time they forced it forward, and it's a good snap for goal in a pressure situation like that. He's trying to get it on his boot and get it forward, but had the ability to steer it through. Goal number 3 for Chris Massey. He's playing a great game.
Chris Massey looking very good. At times promises so much. Plenty of ability. Bradley comes away again. Camporelli back to Bradley. Just get the feeling the Blues are running harder for the moment. 65 metres out. Pops it up. No contest down there. Just on the ground is Vance. And he's marked about 40 metres out.
A good play by Craig Bradley, because James Clement left Vance. Thought that Bradley was going to go long. You see there Clement peeled off, expecting Bradley to kick it long. Bradley was then good enough to pull his kick in short, find Vance and give him a shot at goal.
Murray Vance kicks from right on the 50. It's coming left to right nicely. It's another goal for the Blues, making their move.
Well, that's the first time for the second quarter either side has kicked consecutive goals. Terrific stuff there by Bradley. Once again, it was a centre square dominance. Allen starting to get his first hands on the footy. There it is there. Terrific run there by Bradley. The backward handball, so he could run forward into the hole. Good switch inside there by Camporeale. Good shepherd off the line of the footy. There's what Woosha was talking about. Clement was the one who was going to drop back into the goal square thinking Bradley was going to kick long. Pulled his kick, found Vance who goal.
Murray Vance. It's his first goal of the night and certainly didn't look out of his depth against the Western Bulldogs last week when he came on. Camporeale again gets it across to Allen. Again, exerting their influence inside the centre square. Whitnell, surely free kick, nothing doing. Ratton gets the hand pass to Murphy. That was the wrong decision. He went back into the traffic. Look at Kickett, goes after it. Murphy back towards Whitnell, trying to crash his way through his ship. Spills across to Hamill, threads the hand pass away, taken by DeUlio, dragged down by Bond. John out of there, picked up by Carroll. Carroll out of defence, a high kick, flooding it back towards the wing. In front, Fletcher, surely a free. No, play goes on. Massey, they're letting them play, the umpires at the moment. That was a half volley. Allen to Nelson inside the centre square. Great vision. Ratton has it 45 metres out.
And that's one thing that Carlton they really specialise with. They're quick hands in close. They're very clean. They give it to their teammate to the advantage running into the space.
There's a space and Murphy gets on the end of it.
And that's just unselfish play. Ratton would have realised he wouldn't have got the distance. He held the footy, give it to a far longer kick and probably a better kick towards goal in Murphy. That's great team-oriented stuff.
Teamwork by both players, isn't it?
Yep.
Murphy would have known that Ratton was going to struggle to make a distance, so offer him a lead.
Yep.
Justin Murphy, 12 games for the Tigers, came to Carlton in '95 for Ben Harrison in a draft pick. And he's kicked a goal, an important one.
It's obvious that Carlton working very well. If they're having a shot from outside 50, they've worked out the situation. They don't want it kicked right to the goal line where it's very easy for the opposition to bang it over for a behind. We've seen it once in the first quarter where Whitnell just chipped it up to the top of the square, and on that occasion Murphy just held back and then made a lead, knowing that Ratton wasn't going to make the distance. Ratton honoured the lead and they ended up with a goal, which is the ultimate team result.
Justin Murphy, 12 possessions tonight, 2 goals, averaging 23 possessions a game this season. 10-3-6-6. Breathing space for the Blues. Fletcher over the ball, missed it, picked up by Bandy. It ricochets out towards the wing. Gathered out there by Lappin, stood up in the tackle. Ship read it pretty well, falling to the ground. Black, it's going to be a free kick, I think, to Callahan for a push in the back. Wasting no time, gets it to Black. Kicks down towards half forward, cleared Clucas. Running at the back is Hickmott. Battles Manton. Gives it to Manton now. Manton breaks away. Slick hand pass. Murphy gave it straight to Marr. Nicely done. Feigns a hand pass. Now kicks it very high inside the 50. And Modra. Well, when you consider the quality of the opposition, and that is Silvani territory there, body to body, and Modra did brilliantly.
And caught behind and almost reaching over the top of Silvani. That's a sensational mark. But Murphy's handball was a turnover back towards the wing, and he tried to handball it while he was still off balance and going backwards, still actually in the air. And when you're like that, always a big chance that you're going to make a mistake, and he couldn't get a good purchase on it. Fremantle got it and went forward.
Important kick. Modra going at his 3rd, and it's good.
Admittedly, Carlton is still in front. They've got a 15-point buffer, but they just don't want it to become a game of Coopman's off. And I just sense halfway during this second quarter, it started to become a little bit like that. The midfield dominance of Fremantle Dockers certainly was that in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Then the players like Ratton and Brown and Bradley started to get a fair bit of control. But I don't think they want it to become a shootout against Fremantle Dockers, because they can score fairly quickly.
Just over 3 minutes till half-time. Carlton 10-3. Fremantle 7-6. Bad bounce. Allen to Brown to Bradley. Feeds it back. This is Massey. Massey driving down towards half forward. Coming over the top, Carroll. Kick it. Great reflexes, but then coughed it up. Likewise, Hamill. On his knees, Gale. They work it out of there. Parker got it across to Carroll. The Ship breaking into space is McManus. Inside the centre square, runs a long way. McManus kicks well inside the 50. Modra launches himself. Chance for Waterhouse. Close to the boundary line. Still a battle. Klukas is in there as well. Flying out of there is Modra. Whistle. Ball up.
Well, that's crucial. You can see Carlton had players in their forward line running ahead of the play. If they had managed to get the possession and get it forward, they were going to run into an open goal. Fremantle fought hard, and on that turnover, they had McManus lurking, and he sent them forward.
Allen directs it down. Brilliantly done. Hickmott across the goal face. Manton will need to stretch. Can't keep it in. Bad luck for the Blues.
Dennis, some boundary news. Brad Weir has gone onto the ground for Fremantle skipper Chris Bond, who's been arrested. Greg Harding is still in the rooms with sore ribs and not too good at all. And Michael Sexton's about to come on for Carlton.
The margin is 15 points. Bandy backhands it back towards the middle. Taken by Mata to push in the back. No, play goes on. Camporelli to Rice. Crowd wanting the free. Rice to Nelson. Nelson, a driving kick from half-back down towards half-forward, coming up hard. Just missing it down there was Massey. Or was it Vance? It was Vance who lunged at it. Chance now for Parker, slips it away. They work it pretty well. Wirra to Black. Black forward at half-back, kicks it up towards the wing, and Fletcher. Great desperation by Ratton. Just cutting off the ball and knocking it across the line.
And you just look at Ratton, he just really has lifted his work rate this last 5 or 10 minutes. He's the ultimate competitor. It's interesting to see Michael Sexton come onto the ground earlier in the year. He played centre wing against the Fremantle Dockers, and he was a very influential player. So obviously he'll probably go to that part of the ground again tonight.
Bradley didn't seem to have the ball. Ball up on the wing. Minute 30 to go. 63 plays 48.
David Parker is still going with that policy of resting Fraser Brown and Brett Ratton out of a forward pocket. Now it's Fraser Brown's turn to rest, because he certainly has been another player that's got a lot of those clearances going Carlton's way.
Allen knocked it wide. Interfering down there is the runner. The Carlton runner, and the ball is out of bounds.
Because Brown's gone forward, Murphy's come back onto the midfield area of the ground. He's provided a lot of run in that part of the ground also. He's had 13 possessions, taken 6 marks. Camporelli's also been good with 13. But Ratton, he's been the player that's really lifted the work rate in this quarter.
Fletcher comes away and kicks to half forward. McKay went back with great courage. Waterhouse was slung. Marr gets it away to Holland, taken high. And he'll get the free kick.
A ferocious tackle by Dean Rice. He does go hard at it, but caught him right around the neck here.
Pound for pound, he'd be the strongest player on the Carlton list, John.
Yeah, very solid character. But just caught Holland high, gave away that free kick. The umpire's called play on here.
Dying seconds of the half. Holland confronted by Rice. Chips it in short to Black. Now Black showed us he can make this range. We're down to 28 seconds. 63 to 48. A late goal would be very good for the Dockers. And I think
Holland's on a short kick too, Dennis, just inside there, just off the mark.
Well, I think Blank has decided he wants to have a crack at it. 7 seconds to go as he kicks this one. Well, he's tucked it away to the right, off hands and to behind. So the margin 14 points. And there's the siren for half-time.
Well, just that kick there, Dennis. We talked about the way Carlton set up. If they don't think they're going to be able to clear the pack, they either chip it in short, they wait for someone to make a lead, or they'll kick it to the top of the square. Black on that occasion. I know he'd already made one from that distance, but didn't get onto that one as well, and very easy for Carlton to bang it over the line for a behind.
It just goes to show, more often than not, when you're outside 50 metres, the percentages are against you. Just in terms of kicking the distance first and then secondly having the accuracy, very hard to do to combine the both over a long period of time. And more often than not, when you get late in the game, as your fatigue sets in, you very rarely get the distance and the accuracy in that ideal combination.
Chris Bond having a bit to say. The Dockers still very much in this game. Carlton impressive to start. The Dockers fought back. And Carlton had their moments about 10 minutes out from half-time. But the Dockers again came at them 10-3 to 7-7. of the second half. Can the Dockers get back? Can Carlton improve their situation inside the top 8? Rucks go at it. Bandy slaps it down. Bradley hurriedly. It bounces down towards half forward. Parker slapped it back towards the middle. Massey is there trying to find it. Coming away is Black towards half forward with the kick. Manton does well. Good judgment. McKay on the overlap. Swings it out wide to Murphy. And Murphy's got this one. Left half back. To the middle and Rice. Confronted by Clucas. Breaks away. Kicking down towards half forward. Drifting in from the side. Massey read it best off the boot. Did well. Massey. Short one is on to the middle. Unchecked there is Sexton. And Sexton has it 60 metres from goal. Now he sets it up long towards the opposite pocket. Going back. Fletcher has taken the mark. That was a lovely kick.
Yeah, Sexton plays that change of direction pretty well.
50 metres here.
Against Ship.
Yeah, Ship's it was a second reaction to actually push the player over. So he takes the mark. Ship then swings his arm around.
Wasn't much in it though, was it?
It wasn't a lot in it, no. But it was that second reaction there. So certain goal here. Well, we should never say a certain goal, but 50 metres puts him on the line.
Fletcher steers it through. Simon Fletcher gets his first.
And it's a costly 50 because it was a very tough shot for goal from where he was going to take his kick. Ends up banging it through and gives Carlton a handy break now. Sexton went back hard, had a good look. Fletcher was on his own for a fair while, and then he had to get it over the top of Ship, who was trying to hedge his bet between two Carlton players. Fletcher took the grab and got the 50.
Well, you've got to say history favours Carlton from here. Only twice in the last 2 seasons out of 26 tries have the Dockers come from behind to win games. That was against St Kilda round 9 last year and Geelong round 7 this year. Not a come from behind team. Still, maybe tonight. Ratton gets it away to Brown. Across to Sexton, who prods it down towards half forward. Parker's in the road, comes back across the ground. Showed too much of it to Murphy. Some indecision. Eventually the hand pass to Ratton. Ratton kicks it out wide. Clever kick. And Lappin's got this one. Wants to go immediately. Gets it to Allen. That's confidence. Giving it to the big man. And he misses to the right-hand side.
Once again, the centre clearances from Carlton are certainly destroying the Fremantle Dockers. Have so for most of the game, but it's Brown and Ratton who combined once again, and then Ratton won the footy to kick the ball forward to his teammate in Lappin. Was just terrific vision and just poisoned the contest merely because he knew he was going to be tackled, but had great composure and belief systems in his own ability to use the ball effectively.
Clement, long kick. Allen misjudged it slightly, but shepherding off the ball. Bandy will get a free, called against Whitnell. Bandy at half back then. Across the ground. Having to wait was Wirra. Well done. Getting back was Vance. The hand pass from Brown to Sexton. Back to Brown. Across to Vance. He deserves to kick a goal here. Well, he sprayed it. It's out of bounds on the full.
Once again, there's the difference the players have got to weigh up. Is it a calculated risk, that change of direction, or is it a foolish chance?
It's a big risk, especially Carlton just had the numbers when the ball did hit the ground. If the Dockers had the numbers, it was worth it.
Clement boots it out towards the boundary line. Rice and Clucas. Rice goes back looking for Bradley, but the boundary line is too close.
Dennis, a bit of vital news down here. Greg Harding will definitely not be playing again tonight. In fact, he's been taken to hospital for some precautionary x-rays. He could have a punctured lung or broken ribs, they're not sure, but he has gone to hospital, and not too serious, but precautionary stuff.
Fletcher at the base of the pack. The umpire wants it.
And Dennis, we saw an example there of the two probably smallest players on the ground, Fletcher and Ratton, doing the ruck work from that boundary throw, and merely because Allen, he's pushed forward now to play from the goal square, Bandy, the ruckman, has followed him into that part of the ground.
The two number 7s go at it. Ratton did pretty well to find the ball between his legs initially. Moved it about 5 metres. Clement went to ground. Holland feeds it wide. McManus, well, eventually gets it across to support. Allen, or rather Carroll, sold into trouble. Well played by Lappin. Came looking for Brown. Camporelli just gets away. Kicks from 40 metres. And Allen has taken this mark about 5 metres out.
Well, good intense play by Carlton. They just had the numbers around the footy. They were putting a lot of pressure on Fremantle. Just that very small fumble by McManus meant that by the time he got his handball out to Carroll, the Carlton players were on him, putting the pressure on. And then a good, smart kick by Camporelli to get it to Allen, who was standing at the top of the goal square.
And also, I think, John, it was the movement of Carroll. He come back into the congestion rather than turning his back and getting the ball away from his opponent, getting his body in between the ball and his opponent. He didn't do that.
They're thinking check side, and it's good. Carlton pull away.
Danger time now for the Dockers. They needed to come out and start well, but Carlton have dominated this third quarter so far. Centre bounce hit outs, 12 to Carlton, 3 to Fremantle. It just shows that Allen's getting his hand on the ball and then Carlton clearing it away. That's where it starts from. That's what Carlton's dominated this quarter so far. They've got the score on the board and are starting to break away.
Just under 17 minutes till three-quarter time. Carlton, the only 2 goals in this term, lead 12-4 to 7-7. Allen again decisively to Ratton. Gets through the traffic and swings it out wide, and the mark is taken by Fletcher. Likely tight. Plays on to Bradley, running out of space. Beats Gale, though. Gets it away to Sexton. A 60-metre kick required. Here he goes long down towards full forward. Coming back is Wirra. His fingertips to it. That was enough. Knocking it across the line.
Yeah, terrific run and overlap there by Bradley to set up the run for Sexton, who bombed away a goal. Probably kicked it to the right spot. Lappin had an advantage. Tried to outbody his opponent in Wirra. Ball went over the back.
Just get the feeling the Dockers need the next goal to stay in this. The signs are not good as Clement comes Member's side, and a strong mark is taken there by Carroll. Carroll at half back. Did he play on? I think so. Drives it up towards the wing eventually. This will be interesting. Allen, the better judgment over Bandy to Nelson. Pulls it back to the middle again. Fletcher's got it. Camporelli cruising past. 15 possessions now for Scott Camporelli. Brown almost the clever mark. Hitmon if he can beat this man. He can't. Clement got him down. He was through there. It could have been a score had he got by. Ship got it to kick it. In trouble. Black. Eventually it spills across to Parker. Parker from half back. Puts it back towards the wing. Ratton is there. With him is Fletcher. Bradley comes across. 2-on-1, but it matters not. It's out of bounds. Brett Ratton having plenty to say. 15 possessions now for Ratton. His season's high is 35 against Port Adelaide, round 8. Twice best and fairest. As Allen hooks it down in Ratton's direction. He's got it now. He's taken high, and he'll get the free kick. What a player he is. Always in, always working. To Bradley, to Allen. Bit enthralling, the duel between Allen and Bandy, and what a great finish that was by a tall player. It needed to be, dare I say it, centimetre perfect to clear the men in front. It did, and hit Lappin on the chest.
And a good lead by Lappin too, the small player up in that forward line. Made the strong lead, came over the top, kept his eyes on the ball and took the chest mark.
Matthew Lappin. A kick from about 40 metres out. It's bending around, but not enough. It tried to come left to right. To behind. Missed by about a metre.
Interesting to see also how long Damien Drum has Peter Mann off the ground. Ma, who's played at centre-half forward for most of the night, hasn't had a lot of touches. He's had 6 kicks, 1 handball and 2 marks. He's tried to provide a target. I think Peter Mann might come onto the ground and play in that part of the ground in this quarter.
Precise kick finds Gale. It was Parker who kicked it in. Fletcher again bobs up on the end of it, pulls it across the body. Sinclair had it knocked away by Nelson, but Sinclair, rightly so, is going to get a free. Taken high. Just Sinclair. Crowd favourite. Kicks down towards the half-forward line. Whitnell goes back. Waterhouse was under the ball. Hickmott gets it away. Whitnell, a hurried kick back towards the wing. Nelson knocked it down, picked up by Ratton. Run down by Waterhouse. It was in the back. But clumsy. Ratton will get the free.
Yeah, once again, Ratton's been terrific at the start of this third quarter. He's opposed to Adrian Fletcher, who had 22 possessions in the first half. He's only had 1 kick this quarter, mainly due to the pressure from Ratton.
Pushing the back on the outer side. Lappin takes a free kick. Plenty of frees to start this third term. Only 16 in the game to half time. 78 plays, 49. Lappin down towards half forward. Whitnell had it knocked away by Carroll. And across the boundary line it goes. About 52 metres out from the Blues' attacking goal. Lance Whitnell, Carlton's leading goal kicker last season with 46. He's got 35 so far this season. Came to Carlton under the father and son rule. His dad Graham played 66 games. Seems so mature for such a young man. Ratton in front of the pack, dragged down, fed back nicely by Allen to Bradley. This is Fletcher, a centering kick and a beauty. Bounces off the chest of Lappin, steps aside for Rice. Nelson in the grass, goes looking for Hickmott. Wirra falls to the ground. He's still got control of the ball. Feeds it back to Fletcher. Spins out of trouble brilliantly. Well played by Fletcher. Gets the hand pass wide to Gale. That was a wonderful effort by Fletcher. The kick comes down towards half forward, and Clucas, look out on a collision course there with McKay. Down goes Clucas. McKay's on top of him. Well, how in heaven's name was he going to get that ball out?
Well, that's very
directly under his stomach.
Yeah, the umpire's got to decide now whether he thinks Clucas did just dive the ball and drag it in. But I think just in that, it's a bounce down.
Hickmott around the outer side towards half forward. Clement goes back, controls it pretty well. It's a quick customer. Little chip pass inside the centre square. Sinclair to Walker. Walker from right inside the centre circle uses the ball brilliantly. Finds Black. Vacant goal square. He'd be well advised to put it long. Ship leads in the race down towards full forward, but that wasn't the kick for the moment. Down there is Silvani. Ship gave a contest. Still he goes close to the boundary line. Silvani, though, picks it up. Gets it across to McKay. The old firm. McKay drives it towards the outer side and Camporelli. Camporelli draws a man. Look at this now. Starting to fall into place. The puzzle around the outer side. Allen's kick, though, not the equal of the earlier good work, and it bounces out of bounds in front of Whitnell. There's Ship.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that was a wasted opportunity from Fremantle Dockers' point of view. Black decided to wheel in, but he had a couple of players about 30 metres from goal who were unopposed. You've just got to be very decisive with your decision making when you decide to wheel in and back your ability to kick long shots at goal, especially when free players are free for your side.
Walker, hand passes back towards Fletcher. Down he goes, coming through is Brown. There's a whistle, and Fletcher will get the free kick. So he's coming up for possession number 25. He's played on, and Wirra finishes up with the ball. Opposite side of the ground, comes looking for Clucas. Whoops, dropped it. Coming through is Murphy, close to the boundary line. Justin Murphy is away. Kicks inside the 50. Poor kick, though. Clement's got it. Back come the Dockers. Clement runs outside the 50. Kicks it back towards the wing. Allen should mark this, and he does.
He's starting to get on top of Bandy now. They've had a good contest, but Allen's starting to get a fair bit of it now.
Yes, dominating this term. Bradley, the hurried kick. Clement, the one hand to it. Shepherd's off well. Taken by Kickett. Hand pass to Holland. Charged down there by, I think it was Fletcher. It was. Eventually the ball came from Holland to Beaumont. Finishes up with Nelson. Nelson spears the ball into Ratton. Ratton's got it about 55 out. Comes back to the middle. And Scott Camporelli has marked this one about 25 metres out directly in front.
And there's just an example of the difference in the two sides with head ball use. As Clucas has come from the ground, very decisive ball use by the Carlton players. Ratton quickly knew that Camporelli was running into that space 20 metres from goal directly in front. He wheeled onto his left side very quickly, and there's the irony between the two setups in the last 3 or 4 minutes of play.
Camporelli kicks truly. Carlton stretched their lead.
And you can really see the difference in the number of marks that Carlton are taking. They're just able to find the free player, use the ball well, Mick, as you were saying.
And 3 of them this quarter from goals have been uncontested marks as well, John.
Yeah, and that's crucial. I mean, you shouldn't be able to find players that easily on their own inside 50. Ratton on that occasion was a player who's trying to push forward and drag Fletcher away from that centre corridor, and he can try and test Fletcher out in the forward line.
17 possessions, 1 goal to Scott Camporelli, who turns 24 next Wednesday. He did boot 7 goals against the Dockers back in '96. Real battle, but Carlton got the goal that may break the resistance. They work it out of the middle again. Finishes up with Bradley to Ratton. They're running hard. They've got the only 3 goals in the term, and now Whitnell has taken the mark about 40 metres out.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too easily. The Carlton players getting off their opponents in their forward part of the ground. Before this kick, 8 of their 13 goals have come from uncontested marks, which would no doubt be a worry for coach Damien Drum.
Whitnell going at number 3. He's judged it very nicely. It's a goal.
Very good goal there to Whitnell, and very clean passage of play from that centre bounce by Carlton. They're starting to really blow the game apart. Once they get their clean position in the centre of the ground, we see here Murphy works hard to have the ball in front of him. Then just a chain of handballs until they release the player. Ratton, very good disposal on his left foot there. Good lead by Whitnell. He knows where to run, and he finished off with a great kick for goal too. Though Carroll has tightened up on him and done a pretty good job since the first quarter.
10 minutes remaining till 3/4 time, and Carlton skipping away now. 14-6 to 7-7. It's been a good day for the Blues. Things fell into place this afternoon, and they're taking full advantage now. Callahan to Ship. Ship kicks down towards half forward. Good grab by Rice. Drifting in. Swings it out wide to Murphy. Murphy, the defensive side of the wing. Ratton running for him. That's ignored, at least initially. Murphy will go for distance. Long down towards half forward. Allen and Bandy in from the side. Hickmott. He's about 65 metres out from goal. The WACA has fallen silent. Hickmott, a centering kick. A little screen off the ball. Nicely done by Brown, and Lappin goes up and takes the mark.
A good team play again, and more uncontested marks to Carlton. Just finding too much space. As that kick dropped short, Bradley realised it dropped short. Lappin was really setting himself to be the crummer in front of the pack. Because it did drop short, he was the player who it was going to land with. And Brown stood his ground, made sure that if a Docker player wanted to get to Lappin, they had to go through or around Brown. Just gave him that space to take the mark uncontested.
Matthew Lappin hasn't kicked a goal as yet directly in front. Goes from 40. You'd expect him to kick this one. I think he has. He has.
Well, another one to Carlton. They've really been on fire since half-time. David Parkin, as we said, wouldn't have been too happy. They gave the Dockers a lot of credit for the pressure they put on them in the first half, but the Dockers haven't sustained that pressure going into this third quarter, and Carlton have really capitalised on that. Working the ball forward fairly easily, finding players on their own, using the ball well, and finishing off with the goals. Looking very dangerous.
5 unanswered goals now to Carlton. Midway through this third term, Allen slaps it out wide. Fletcher leads back in the race, bearing down his Camporelli. High was the tackle. Advantage is paid. Wirra gets it across to Ship. Ship hoists it down towards half forward. Working his man out of it was Waterhouse. Diving on top of it. Manton could have been taken high. It comes across to McKay. Boots it back towards midfield. Wirra juggled it but lost it. Camporelli breaks away. 65 metres out. Vacant goal square. Clement gets back. The ball runs on. He's got it right on the goal line. Clement boots it back towards half back. Coming across on the angle there is Ratton. Worked out of it by Fletcher. That's an interesting duel. A hand pass from Ratton. Back comes Fletcher. Back comes Ratton. Took him down. Whitnell tries to crash his way through. In goes Fletcher. That's Carlton's Fletcher. Beaten by Kickett. Got it to Carroll. Across it comes to McManus. McManus boots it up towards the wing. Punched away by Nelson. Down in front it's taken by Bandy. Nicely done. Bandy towards half forward. Waterhouse. Fingertips to it. Man's on the ground. Dragged down immediately. Trying to crash his way through down there was Sinclair. Came back to him. He coughed it up. Rice is taken by Callahan. It comes across to Fletcher. In goes Massey. Couldn't control it. Back it comes towards Fletcher. Getting through there McManus. Knocked down by Sinclair. Taken by Fletcher. Feeds it across towards support. McKay gives it to Hickmott. And the moment has passed. This is Murphy.
What a passage of play.
Allen. Now Sexton. About 80 metres out. Beautiful kick. Lappin's got it.
Once again, the decision of young Jess Sinclair to actually tap the ball back into the congestion. You've just got to actually accept the pressure's going to come. You've got to win the ball in that situation. If you muck it up there, more often than not, the rebounding defence comes into play. Murphy was the player who got out wide to receive and use that change of direction. And Carlton have been very efficient with their ball use tonight. Once again, Lappin takes an uncontested mark.
Lappin has missed this time.
Just a couple of occasions, Lappin's half kicked the ball tonight, which is not usually a part of his makeup. Pretty good skills, one-touch player. He'd be disappointed with that return.
Parker, nice kick, finds Walker. Matthew Clucas is off the ground too. Might find out what happened to him. He limped off. Whitnell, big leap on the outer side. Fletcher trying to get through to Gale, who played so well last week. Spent a lot of time on the bench tonight. Came on late in the first quarter last week against Hawthorn. This is Nelson to the middle and Murphy. Gale, I'm talking about, had 21 possessions last week. He was their best player. Here's Hickmott inside the centre square. Short. Camporelli's got it. 6 minutes till three-quarter time. Probing kick. Big leap down there by Beaumont. Behind is Nelson. Heads for goal. Pulls it back. Carroll has marked about 3 metres out. Carroll changes the direction of play. Comes to Bond. Not much up ahead.
Yeah, they've been very staticky this quarter. They just haven't got any flow through their midfield group. They're usually kicking to contests on centre wing or at half forward.
Murphy, Camporelli, the runners are killing them now. 3 of them combining there. Bradley, Allen probably considers himself one. Kicks inside the 50. Big leap by Whitnell. Carroll grabs it, in trouble, taken front on. Whitnell's got the footy. They battle after it. Ship tries to knock it out. Picked up by McManus. Bond trying to soccer it forward. Look at Brown working in there. Relishes that situation. Clement can't keep it in.
Dennis, some news on Matthew Clucas. He has a foot injury, but hopefully he'll be able to play in the last quarter. He's just had it re-strapped.
Playing his first game of the season. Last season he played 6 games, and those he started on the bench 5 times. He was an emergency 5 times. He is what we describe as a battler. Trying to take his chance tonight. This is Clement. Clever mark. Fraser Brown kicked it to him. Callahan in the back pocket. Goes out wide to Walker, who's running. From left half back, he kicks it towards half forward. Needs a contest. Well, man did well enough, knocked it away from Murphy, but a free kick is going to Bradley.
The man did well to make the first contest, but then just a lazy grab on Bradley to give away the free kick after he'd worked so hard to get the ball on the ground for the Dockers.
48 points the difference as Bradley comes in short, and they're finding space all over the place.
And they're the things individuals can control, John, can't they? On a field, give away silly free kicks. Can hurt you on the scoreboard.
Rice kicks it in, looking for Whitnell. Beaumont is well tackled down there. Camporelli thrown on the pile by Walker. Whitnell to Hickmott, who pulls it back towards the pocket. With the run of it, kick it. Coming up to meet him was Hamill. Spills to Brown. Brown did well. Camporelli, did he have the ball? Close to the boundary line. The umpire lets them play, and Parker takes it across the line.
I think it's an indication tonight how much young Clem Michael means to this playing group. Just an extra tour because Allen has run extremely hard. Bandy looks to be on his last legs, chasing Allen all over the ground. To have those 2 players tonight would be of value to the Fremantle Dockers.
Missing O'Reilly's height as well. Kick it, slaps it out of there. Down goes Parker, but full credit to Carlton. And this term, they obviously sensed at half-time they were in danger of giving back the good fortune they've had today. There's Beaumont running from the ground. And they've taken it up a notch or 2 in this term, and Fremantle simply haven't been able to go with them.
Now, it looks like Fremantle, they brought on Peter Mann to go to centre forward. He's now gone to the back line, and James Clement, who's done well back there, has gone forward to try and be that fast leading player.
Fletcher and Brown and Ratton, that's worth the price of admission, those 3 in close. Callahan to Walker. Walker, long kick to half forward. Clever mark is taken by Sinclair. That was a beauty. Jess Sinclair, forward of the wing. Inside 3 minutes to three-quarter time. Sinclair sets it up for Waterhouse, but he never got close. Murphy, Rice, Silvani. Silvani goes out very wide. Precise, though. Nelson. Sexton. Hickmott. Centre half back to Sexton. Sexton kicking towards the centre square, ill-directed. McManus.
So Fremantle they get their turnover, they need to move it forward quickly but with precision.
Yeah, just undisciplined play there by Waterhouse. No doubt he's becoming a little bit frustrated due to the efforts of McKay's opponent. Waterhouse just had the opportunity in the first quarter to get his hands on the ball, but there's Rice and Bond remonstrating the two players off the footy, but undisciplined play there by Waterhouse.
And Rice has reason to remonstrate. Bond's got the ball on the wing. That's the kick it has. I was watching a replay. Parker's got it.
Lappin is actually coming from the ground too, Dennis.
Parker goes short and finds Walker. Walker's on the wing. Short. This kick from Mann goes down towards the pocket. Modra's the target, trying to knock it away. Silvani. Modra almost play on's the call. Down goes Modra. Picked up by Silvani. Gets the hand pass away to Bradley. Bradley gets it back towards support. This is White. White at half back over the top. Trying to knock it away was Parker. Still Parker. Throws it on the boot eventually. Very high kick, and that's been symptomatic of their attacks. And Allen, great judgment. Comes across and takes the mark. Murphy wants to go, but the ball is coming back to Allen.
Another blood rule.
Yep.
Dean Rice coming off. I think Rice, I don't know if that was the incident where he got the blood lip, but it may have been.
I think it qualifies as an incident.
Yeah, both players just niggling each other, and Rice not coming off that well.
Oh, well, Bondi, what are we doing next weekend? 97-49. Allen's got the ball, and Rice has got a fat lip. Allen kicks it up towards the wing. Carroll drops it. Brown sockers it or shins it towards the boundary. Black's got it now, feeds it back. In trouble is Gale. He was pushed off the kick, taken by Walker. Coming through as Fletcher. Walker made amends, smothered the kick from Simon Fletcher. It ricochets across the boundary line.
I suppose there's always been a element of doubt about the ability of Carlton to cover the ground for 4 quarters. But when their good players are winning the ball, they let this ball carry the ground for them. Tonight's a perfect example of that situation.
Here's Murphy, got it from Nelson, finds White. Breaking for him is Hamill. That's a beautiful kick. Oops, Hamill trying to mark in the hands, dropped it. Still he goes, falling to the ground. Vance couldn't control it. That was sloppy by Carlton. Callahan to Sinclair, in trouble. Walker run down by Nelson, who crawls after the ball. It's picked up by Vance. He's dragged down by Kickett. Trying to crash his way through is Bond. He's thrown to the ground by White. Up the top comes Sinclair. Vance is in there as well. And the ball up. There's David Parker.
And as you're saying, Mickey, the Carlton players, they're just using the ball so well. They're not wasting a lot of energy where they give up a bad kick and they have to follow up themselves and do that extra running. When they're using it so well, kick it, you can sit back and watch your teammates use it down the ground. Takes a lot of that extra hard running pressure off you.
Callahan met by Hamill. Pretty scrambly. Another bounce.
Dean Rice, yep, you've got it. He's got the fat lip, and Matty Lappin a sore back.
So 3/4 time, Barra. And a tough contract for the Dockers from here. Marvellous turn by Carlton. They kicked 5 goals to none in that quarter. And they've galloped away to lead by 8 goals now. 15-7 to 7-7. Damien Drum would be shattered with that term, I'm sure, but David Parkin would be elated. And we've got to say, John, I made the point early in the game that they do travel well, Carlton, don't they? Particularly to Perth. They've got a great record over here.
They do have a good record. They've come over here when the Eagles were in real good nick, playing extremely well, and beat us a few times. And this year as well, they've come over here twice and done extremely well. And tonight, no exception. They're looking pretty sharp.
Just taking a look at that scoreline. In fact, the Dockers didn't score in that quarter. They were 7-7 at halftime. They're still anchored on 7-7 to 15-7. Tony Modra starved of opportunities in that third term. Had 3 to halftime. 15-7 to 7-7. Start of the final quarter. Seems Waterhouse is up on the ball now. Bounce comes across to Bandy immediately. He's got company. Allen out of the centre, so they continue to dominate that centre square. Man goes back, couldn't control it. Picked up by Parker. Whitnell grabs him, spills wide to Gale, who feeds it back towards the middle, and Ship runs up towards the wing. A high ball down towards half-forward. Going back with courage down there was to Ulio. Gathering the ball, Callahan. Taken by Black. Hurried kick. It spins down towards the pocket. Modra couldn't keep it in. Boundary throw in just inside the attacking 50 for the Dockers.
There was an example there of young Ship. Had a lot more time. If we look at the Fremantle last score, 28-minute mark of the second quarter. Young Ship just rushed himself and didn't kick to the advantage of either forward. He just kicked in the air and hoped. They've got to get some more fluency into their play when they have time to use the ball.
McManus a hand pass towards centre half forward. Manton to Ratton, dragged off the ball by Holland. It comes back to Manton, in trouble. De Ulio's got it now. Comes wider. This is McKay. McKay sends play up towards the wing and hits Whitnell on the chest. Whitnell wants to go, and he does. Lappin with Bond closing. Well played by Chris Bond, who started his career with the Blues. Gets it across the line, and Lappin the worse for wear. He's okay. He's on his feet, but a hard collision.
Yeah, it's good. Desperate lunge, knocked that ball away and make sure he had some body contact in there as well by Chris Bond.
Whitnell worked out of it. Hamill relishes that situation, taking a run and coming over the top. Laid it down into the path of Ratton, who gets into the back of Ship.
Yeah, good body use there by Ship. Yeah. Just realised that
where his opponent was, wasn't it?
Ratton was going to come at that ball. He just got himself in between Ratton and the ball that was bubbling around on the ground level. Good play from the young talent.
Gale. Left half back. Mark Gale towards the middle. Good kick. Bandy misjudged it completely. Allen, he's trouble now for the Blues with Bradley breaking out towards left half forward. He's got it. Man on in the pocket is Murphy. Nobody between him and the goals. He decides to stop. Thought about Fraser Brown, who was sprinting from the opposite side of the ground. But that was quite remarkable. There wasn't a Carlton player or a Docker behind Murphy when he received this ball.
Dennis just back in the centre square. That is just totally unacceptable from a coach's perspective to see Bandy got off his opponent and just only put one hand in the air. A little bit sceptical when you see situations like that. Maybe that typifies this group at the moment.
Murphy. He's coming back. I think it's okay. He likes it. It's a goal. He thought he'd missed.
He got the goal, and he's been running hard all night. He's now taken 12 marks, Justin Murphy. And as we see in that replay, Daniel Bandy ran hard, wanted the ball, and he was on it with the kick, and then just wasn't desperate enough to make sure he took that mark. And turnovers in the middle of the ground there. You give up the ball, Carlton made them pay the price.
So Justin Murphy has put in 3 goals, and sometimes, Mick, the footy has a mind of its own. With the right footer, you hook it, and for no reason at all, it goes back left to right.
Yeah,
you did at that time.
The old Terry Alderman in-swinger.
It's a pleasant surprise when it happens, if that's where you want it to go. Lappin's off the ground.
He's off the ground with a sore back then.
After Bond collided with him close to the boundary line. Allen knocks it down. In front, Sexton got the hand pass away. Fletcher, Camporelli stood up in the tackle. This is Bradley, feigns a hand pass, sprints away now. Craig Bradley on the wing, up towards half forward. Whitnell very conscious of Carroll, tries to hook it down behind. Walker is going to be penalised. Well, in the scheme of things tonight, that is very tough.
It's interesting.
Very tough.
And as Brown finds his teammate further forward in Massey, who's got the opportunity to kick his 4th for the night. Interesting watching Waterhouse in midfield. He's actually picking up Bradley. You can see the difference in the fitness levels. Waterhouse has basically played all his career. Oh, that's poor checking.
That's terrible checking. Hamill gets it from Massey, turns around and kicks an easy goal.
That's just unaccountable football, Busher.
Yeah, very shabby group, aren't they, at the moment? Across the whole field, the Dockers just really look like they're out there going through the motions, just trying to make a bit of a contest out there, but really their performance since half-time has been very, very poor. And to let players get away like that and then still be able to play on and bang it through, not very good football from the Dockers. They've got a lot of work to do.
Just under 17 minutes till full time. 17-7 to 7-7. The Dockers have not scored in the second half. Allen again out of the centre. Hand passes down towards half forward. He took him around the head a couple of times there, Hamill, and still argues his case. Parker's got the free.
And Dennis, just to add merit to what Johnny Worsfold said about their unaccountability, the Carlton team have kicked 12 goals from uncontested marks out of their 17 scored tonight.
Manton leads back in the race across half back. Clement's got him. Ball is locked in and the umpire wants it.
I think the number one principle when you're playing in the defensive part of the ground, defenders must defend, and you have to play pretty close checking footy in that part of the ground. But tonight the Carlton forwards in the midfield group have pushed forward and got too far away from their direct opponents and been offered no pressure whatsoever.
Down goes Clement. Nelson flicks it out, clearing the zone. The kick comes from D'Ulio back up towards the wing, taken by Hamill. Carlton players everywhere. Brown is one of them. Camporelli's another. He's forward of the wing now. Camporelli pulls it back towards the middle. Kick it. Read it nicely off the boot. Comes up and takes the mark.
Yeah, just cut the right angles. Did kick it. Realised that Camporelli couldn't kick the ball probably 70 metres. Good work there by Kickett. 29
possessions for Fletcher now to McManus. Still inside the centre square. Sean McManus, a high kick. Going back is Hickmott. Intended for Modra. Modra paddling it towards the boundary line. Silvani's got him. Nelson goes to ground. Knocking it across the line is McKay. And McKay and Sinclair front up. And that's going to be a free kick to Sinclair. He wastes no time and goes to Ship. Not a very good kick from Ship. It was touched though, so no mark to Allen. Coming through his Waterhouse, fell to ground. Eventually Silvani grabs it, kicks it across the goal face towards the outside half-back flank where Bandy leads in the race. Manton just tracking him, waiting to corral him. Didn't do a very good job as it turned out. Massey dragged down. Weight of numbers tell the story. Ratton chip passes delicately, nicely. And Murphy has it. Comes back to the middle. Bradley plays on. Well, it's a clinic now. Ratton down towards half forward, waiting behind Bond. It's going to be a free kick, I think, to a Docker, is it?
Yeah, an advantage rule too.
Man short to Ship, or rather Black. Black comes out to Bond. Bond is on the wing. Well, tried to manufacture something there. Never on. Gave it to Bradley to McKay. Intended for Beaumont. Should have got a free kick. Didn't. It's taken high. Black feeds it back to Bond. Very pedestrian football at the moment. Oh, and Clement goes up and takes a contender for the Cadbury's Mark of the Year over a teammate in Holland who'll want some of the chocolates. There goes Clement down towards full forward. Silvani goes back. Modra does well. Knocks it towards the goal square. But there's the first score for the second half for the Dockers. A force behind and they'll take it.
Yeah, they certainly will. It's been a disappointing approach at the game from the Fremantle Dockers. It's probably easy to be critical, but you also have to be realistic. Here we go again. Just their unaccountability. The zone just was too deep in the Carlton's forward line.
Sexton gave it to McKay, who tries to find Whitnell. Knocked away by Carroll.
And Carroll's worked pretty hard. You know, Whitnell had a great start to the game. His first quarter, he had 7 possessions. Carroll's tightened right up and done a pretty good job under a fair bit of pressure since quarter time.
5 out of their last 6 the Blues will have won. What a transformation. What a credit to their coaching staff. Brown on his knees, Ratton, Sexton getting a bit of it now too. Didn't mean it, I don't think, to go there. Hickmott missed the ball. I think this was the target always. Beaumont hard against the boundary line. Pulls it back to the middle and Sexton ran on aggressively, ran on well, and will have a shot at goal.
Yeah, Secco will certainly go back and have a shot on goal.
But just running hard forward. The Dockers players just aren't pushing in there with their opponents, just letting them run free. The Dockers backmen are trying to man up, but all the running players are finding all that space.
Sexton kicks the goal.
Once again, another uncontested mark in their forward 50 area. And as you said, John, it's the Carlton midfield group. They're really pushing hard forward. And that's one area of the game that the Fremantle Dockers will have to dramatically improve in. Probably the second phase of the game is to harass and try to dispossess your opposition when they have the footy. That's what the Dockers aren't doing. They're having a go at the loose ball. They just aren't using it effectively enough when they win the ball. But I think it's the second phase of the game they're really struggling with, and they certainly have to change that around.
18-7 to 7-8. Allen, Ratton, getting monotonous. Bradley, Brown, back to Bradley. Bradley storming down towards half forward. Whitnell. Well, this is embarrassing now to the Fremantle Dockers. It's hard to put a spin on this. They are out of their depth. They need to don the climbing gear and just try and climb their way back with a couple of late goals and salvage some pride.
And then the news is no good down here either, because Daniel Bandy has had to leave the ground with a stomach complaint.
Oh, Whitnell has kicked the goal.
Well, it's just a clinic now, isn't it? Carlton just totally dominating the Fremantle Dockers. In these situations, I suppose the Dockers players know that the end of the season is approaching, but there's still no excuse. Every game of footy you ever play, you should play the whole game out. You should have that same hunger to compete, to make a contest of it. Fremantle at this stage in this game just aren't making a contest anywhere across the ground, and it'd be great to see if they could lift.
4 goals for Lance Whitnell. That makes it 37 on the season. As I mentioned, their leading goal kicker last year with 46. One down by Ma. Brown, though, to Camporelli. It's a runway to centre square. Massey out wide. Coming across with Ship. Did pretty well between Ratton and Bradley. Ratton goes hard at him, takes the body, and the ball is jarred across the line. The margin is 71 points. Carlton have a big following here in Perth. A lot of happy faces around the ground. More glum ones. Ratton on all fours. This is Holland. Haven't seen a lot of him since half-time. Chips it up towards the wing. Mind you, he's no orphan. White knocks it away. Taken by Sinclair. The hurried kick in the direction of Black. DeUlio tries to go over the top. The hand pass comes from Fletcher. Taken by White. Comes back to DeUlio. DeUlio kicks inside the centre square. And stretching Sexton takes a very good mark. And the signs are good for Carlton. Sexton back in the side tonight. At various times this year has struggled for form, but he's looking good.
He's actually had a lot of injuries too, Dennis, which probably hasn't helped his cause. He struggled through adversity. He's such a quality player and important to this Carlton outfit.
Brown to Murphy. Goes to the pocket and finds Allen.
And there's once again the link up between this midfield group that has been so dominant. Allen, Brown, Bradley, Ratton, Camporelli and Murphy. They've got about 152 possessions between them. Terrific work rate from 6 players in the engine room for Carlton.
Hickmott dragged off the ball, dives on top of it. Kickett's there with him. Whistle, ball up, just under 11 minutes till full time, and the siren can't come quickly enough for the Dockers.
Again, we saw that kick from Allen coming in, just that disciplined chip to the top of the goal square, rather than putting it right on the goal line where it gets forced over the line. Went back and just set it up to the top of the square, and we see the ball still in play and in a dangerous position for Fremantle.
Mann thumps it towards the line. They are remarkable figures by those on-ballers for Carlton.
Yeah, they've certainly won a lot of the ball, and Allen, he just adds that extra dimension to that group. He more or less runs like a ruck rover, pushes forward to be a marking target also, and his height becomes a critical factor late in the game.
McManus kicking it towards the outer side. Over the top was White. Walker goes down. Still Walker tries to knock it. White is still picked up by Murphy. Another one to the total. Spears the pass in very low along the ground, actually. Walker, Fletcher, untidy hand pass, well gathered out there by Holland, but the pressure is still enormous. Eventually they manage to break free. Ship kicks to space, and the mark is taken by Ma about 55 metres out. Good running by Sexton, getting across to cut off an angle on Wirra. Ma, high ball, Modra worked out of it. Play goes on. Sexton crashes in. Waterhouse grabbed him. Down goes McKay, loose ball in the square. The second score of the term for the Dockers. Another forced behind.
Yeah, and Dennis, you picked up that work of Sexton, and that's probably typified Carlton's approach for most of the night. Their midfield group has worked pretty hard both ways, but also their defensive players in Rice, McKay, Sexton, that type of personnel has worked hard to help other players in their one-on-one matchups.
Murphy. What's he got now? Coming up for possession number 28. Goes to Bradley. Bradley looking at possession number 29. Gets it across to Camporelli. I didn't organise this. Possession number 24. It's with Allen now, who kicks to Brown. This is too good to be true. Brown's going to get a free kick, and he'll come up for possession number 26. Into the middle, and Allen's run down the ground and got it again. Possession number 25. So what does that total up, Nick?
Well, it's about 160 possessions now. I had a quick look before, and those 6 players I mentioned, Allen, Brown, Bradley, Ratton, Camporelli, and also Murphy, they've got about 160 possessions between them.
Well, teams have won one-dayers on this ground with less.
Yeah, well, that's just an amazing statistic in a different sport.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, that is just typified how Carlton have won this game. Their best players have won a lot of the ball, and they've kicked accurately for goal, except for that one.
Missed by a long way, but what a game he's played, particularly the second half, has just become totally dominant. And one of the great talents in the competition.
Yeah, I think the tutorage that he's received from Greg Williams, who's played in that midfield. Wayne Britton's also spent a lot of time with Matthew Allen in that centre square. He's grown in stature, he's matured as a person, and also his work rate has increased. And he's such an important player for the Carlton club.
Here's Parker then. This is remarkable. 2 behind since half-time for the Dockers. They didn't score in the third term, and both their behinds coming in this term have been forced off the hands of Carlton players. Here's Fletcher, still trying. Gets it across to Callahan. Sprays it across the face of the ground. Dockers 2-on-1. Ship, he's at half-back. Bearing down was Beaumont. Ship comes back to the middle. And Fletcher once more. Where would they be without him? Gets it across to Wirra. Wirra breaks away. Kicking down towards half forward. Camped in front. Murphy missed it. Modra, cleverly done. Knocked it down to Sinclair. And this may be something. Well, it's crushed the post, has it? Or is it a goal? I think it's okay. It's a goal. First score off the boot for the Dockers.
Yeah, well, that's an important goal.
Yeah, their first goal since half-time. And it has been a long time coming, and even then they are lucky that Murphy spilt the ball. Bad kick by Wirra. Murphy did well, camped himself in front of Modra coming out. And Modra just smart enough to bring the ball to the ground. Good snap by Sinclair, good young player.
First score from a Docker in this term, in this half. Too little, too late. Wide of the pack, Ratton goes after it. Down goes McManus, taken strongly. And I've got a question, actually, Mick, and it's not a criticism or intended criticism of Damien Drum, although I suppose it's inferred to a certain extent. I think back a couple of years ago when the Dockers missed out on playing in the finals by half a game. They didn't have Tony Modra. They didn't have Adrian Fletcher. I want to know how Jared Neesham did it.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question. At the moment, they're just playing a short brand of footy. They're probably trying to over-finesse in situations. When opposition clubs put a lot of pressure on them in that part of the ground, or in that part of the game, they turn the footy up too often and too regularly.
But who did he have? Here's Fletcher with the ball again.
Yeah, well, that's the question I suppose you've got to answer. But I feel sorry for this man on screen. He's truly tried to lift his team all night. No doubt he's been their best player once again, and I wouldn't mind having an early wage on him to win their best and fairest award by a record margin.
Well, he lost by 1 last year and missed all those games with that broken collarbone.
He's going with Tory. He's going to try and do it all himself here.
Sort of. He's punched it low down towards the pocket, off hands and out of bounds. 122-57.
I think he's given up relying on any of his teammates. He certainly wanted that 50-metre penalty when he took the mark. He knew he was going to be a bit far out. Didn't get it, so he went to talk.
What's that? 33 possessions now. Trying to crash his way through his ship. It comes to Callahan. Spills across to Wirra, and the Blues making no concessions in there. Ship dives in hard. Hickmott's over the ball. A whistle and a ball up. Just inside 7 minutes till full time. Long term, because we've seen quite a few goals.
Yeah, and that's just a remarkable effort in a side that's about to be get beaten by 11 goals or so. He's the highest possession winner on the ground with 33. Just a terrific effort there by Fletcher. He had 22 up to half time. His work rate was extreme in that first half, but since that period Carlton have dominated the game.
Allen to Ratton, to Sexton, Hickmott, Bradley, Here they are again. Back towards the middle it comes. Nelson. Improving player, Nelson. He hasn't played on. Well, that was all borderline there. It could well have been 50. He could well have played on. Nelson down towards centre half forward. Beaumont launches himself off hands. Fell to McManus. McManus across half back. Gets by Brown. Kick it. Waterhouse. He's forward of half back. Jabs it to Wirra. Sweeping hand pass out wide to Black. Black forward of the wing. Pulls it back towards the middle. This is Ratton. That wasn't the target, but Ratton was the only man close to the footy. Coming through is White. Gives it to Silvani. Silvani initially gave it to White. Back in midfield. They combine again. The hand pass came from Massey to Camporelli. And now it's with Vance.
See the difference in the decision making of both sides. Fremantle rushing it forward and end up just spraying a kick deep into their forward line. But Carlton will just hold it and set things up.
Vance lobs it about 20 metres from goal. Here comes Kickett breaking away. Short one is on to Wirra. Inside the centre square. Brad Wirra's away. Looking down towards half forward. Modra and Silvani. This will be interesting. They battle again. Modra leads back in the race. Unkind bounce. It ran away from him. And as a result, they work it away. Hickmott got it to Murphy. Now it's with Nelson. Lovely kick. Punches that ball low. Fraser Brown's got it on the wing. Voting will be interesting in this tonight, John. I think that's your job.
Pretty tough night.
You may have to break it down to half votes as the ball comes down towards half forward. Bradley looking for a free kick, but there's nobody near it.
Once again, you go back to that last passage of play was set up there by Hickmott. He was actually committed to push to the Modra versus Silvani contest while it was in the air. His opponent, Brodie Holland, pushed forward to the contest. Just hoped Modra could beat two of his opponents and Holland could get on the end of it. You just got to push to the contest and create numbers there and support your teammates.
Allen got it to Hamill, who got it to Brown, and Brown bounces the ball out of bounds. Clock stops at 4:24.
And Dan, the injury news is no good for Fremantle either. Harding is in hospital, as we've said. Bandy is still in the ruins with a stomach rib problem, and Klukas has a foot injury, so 3 fairly serious injuries.
And a bad run at the moment. There's Brown again in close. Kicking it across the goal face, taken by McKay. Hot hand pass came to Sexton. Sexton has missed.
Fremantle have upped their tempo a little bit in the last 5 minutes or so. Put a bit more pressure on Carlton because they were just dictating and doing it as they wished in the early part of this quarter. Good to see Fremantle just putting a bit more pressure on. They regrouped a little bit, just making it a little bit tougher for Carlton.
Parker battled hard. Broadcast side with a kick finds Holland. Holland wants to go. Swings it high, intended for Carroll. Carroll goes back and tries a one-hander. Hickmott just pushes him away arrogantly. Taken by Ratton. Kicks to the centre. Allen. De Julio. Wanting it is Camporelli. And again, far too easy.
Yeah, it's just a training drill, especially when Carlton looked like winning the ball forward of centre. And Mushy, you've mentioned on a number of occasions, it's been that midfield group that's actually pushed forward a little bit harder and their opponents are left in their wake. That's a concern for coach Damien Drummond, the match committee. The work rate, irrespective of the scoreboard, has certainly still got to be there because the urgency to compete should never go away.
Camporelli going at his second goal from 40 metres out. That is not a bad kick. I think it's been touched right on the line according to the goal umpire. Just over 3 minutes remaining. It's a slab of percentage for the Blues tonight. Won't go amiss, although the team above them has a draw. There's Holland. Short one. Wirra had to wait. Takes the mark. Plays on after Ratton was overcommitted. Wirra comes away. Kicks it out wide towards the wing. And Carroll takes the sprawling mark. Plays on to the middle. Sinclair. It's right on the wing. Jess Sinclair off his step to Holland. Holland goes across the ground. Here's Mann. Mann running down towards half forward. Pops it up. Intended for Modra. Silvani is right with him step for step. No danger there for the Blues. Silvani just angles that ball across the boundary line. Silvani came off on a stretcher late last week. He didn't return or couldn't return.
And there's the example of the close checking from the Carlton defence. You look throughout the course of the night's game, the other end of the ground, The Carlton forwards have got off their opponents far too easily and marked unopposed.
Callahan, Ratton, Fletcher all had a piece of it, and a ball up. 124 plays 57. Disappointing night for the Fremantle Dockers. Carlton continue their fine run. Got to say they're for real. Allen hooks it down, intended for Rice. Bradley comes across, hugs the boundary line, backs his skills, and why not? They're silky smooth. Got it to Murphy, to McKay. He's in the back pocket. Nelson is on for another short one. Nelson's got it right half back. Minute 45 to go. Nelson up towards the wing. Carroll should have fisted away. Fell at their feet. Over the ball is Black to Bond. Across the body. Murphy camped underneath it. Just knocking up, getting possessions. Climbing into the 30s now.
And that was his 16th mark too, Dennis.
Nelson. I think that's the best by any Carlton player this year. Nelson kicks inside the 50. Camporelli had to wait, was put down. Mann's hand pass. Lob between two teammates. Beaumont to Fletcher. Comes out wide to Brown. Rice is on for the short one. Can take it and go. Rice can run into an open goal. Camporelli urges him on, and he's hit the post. Should have done much better.
Yeah, Rice, he probably just couldn't believe his luck that he worked hard forward, got on the end of a chain of short kicking by the Carlton team. Probably could have committed himself to run that little bit further and put a little bit of doubt in the defender. Made him commit himself to Rice and could have easily gave a handball over the top to Camporelli. But a disappointing return. No doubt Dean Rice would be disappointed with that effort.
Massive win to Carlton. There's Sinclair and there's Parker. A beleaguered defence tonight. Parker virtually up the middle. Maher had it knocked away. Vance stood up in the tackle, got it away. Murphy once more. Allen brilliantly done. This is Massey. Pokes it high. It's floating towards full forward. Almost the mark down there to Fletcher. Still he battles after the ball. Robbed of it by Callahan, who proceeds under pressure to put it out of bounds on the full. He wants a free kick for a push in the back, but nothing doing. It's a Carlton ball deep in the pocket, and I think Beaumont will take it. Good pressure by Beaumont.
Yeah, that's the sort of pressure you put on without giving a free kick away. Force the kick to carry over the boundary line.
Beaumont, sharp angle. Has missed, I think, to the near side. So the margin now, 70 points, I think. No, one short. 35 seconds to go. Now Maher, hopefully he's okay. Bit of a limp there as he comes off the ground. The injury toll continues to mount. Holland's got the ball. Real setback the last couple of weeks for the Dockers. Coming off that high in the Western Derby. They played pretty well against Port Adelaide. They weren't embarrassed that night, but last couple have been poor. Callahan down towards half forward. Storming across is Nelson. Like his game tonight, Nelson. That's his 21st possession. Bradley's got it. Almost siren time as Bradley kicks towards half forward. Leading back in the race is Holland. That's a clever kick, actually. Designed to run on, it did.
The reason why it was a clever kick, Dennis, as you suggested, Holland and Kickett, they were two players who were basically in the Carlton forward 50. Everyone else was out of that area. He just cleared one of those players in Kickett and let the ball go over the boundary line to give the forwards an opportunity from this set play situation.
Wait for the siren. There it is. Carlton far too strong. Pick up their 11th victory on the back of some wonderful midfield play tonight. Despondency in the Dockers camp. Almost a hint of a smile there. David Parkin alongside Cole Kinnear. If you break this one down, it is very hard to find too many redeeming features for the Dockers tonight. Outclassed. Bond, who started his career with the Blues, no doubt was there when Craig Bradley was there. Justin Murphy came across to shake hands. And one of the stars tonight, Matthew Allen. Here he is with Barra.
Thanks, Dan. Yes, Matty. Well, that was the win you wanted after today's other results.
Yeah, it's a pretty important game for us, coming off such a good win against the Bulldogs. last time we had a good win over here against the Eagles, we sort of dropped 3 in a row. So it's pretty important for us at this stage of the year to get a win like that. It's pretty good.
Good personal battle for you with Daniel Bandy today.
Yeah, he just runs. So yeah, I was pretty happy when he went off in the end because he just runs non-stop. So yeah.
The Blues don't mind the trip to Perth, do they? They seem to do okay over here.
Yeah, we seem to play all right over here. So yeah, we're pretty pleased to come over.
So what's next?
Well, next we've got the Cats at the MCG, so that's not going to be easy. They beat Port Power, I think, today, so we'll have a look at them tomorrow.
Good on you, Matty. Congratulations, mate. Enjoy the trip home.
Thanks, bro.
Yes, Matthew Allen, quite outstanding. The run home for Carlton is Geelong next week at the MCG, St Kilda at Optus Oval, and Richmond at the MCG. So you wonder, it's not that difficult compared to some that confront teams. But you've got to feel for that man. I mean, what does he take from tonight, Damien Drum? The Blues fans celebrating, smiles all around. And these trips, provided you can win on them, are great for team morale. And Carlton in the past have drawn from their trips and victories in Perth. And you get the feeling, Mick, this is not a bad thing approaching the finals.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Dennis. The Carlton club actually pride themselves in when they do travel. And it's great to see so many Carlton supporters still here applauding their players. And the players are recognising that fact. Whitney was very good early. Carroll fought back on him, but it was the midfield group that really dominated. Murphy was outstanding once again. He had 32 possessions, 16 marks. Most of them would have been uncontested because he ran hard to space. McKay did the job on Waterhouse, who looked likely early in the game being a dangerous forward. Silvani was outstanding once again on Modra. Modra only had 6 kicks but kicked 3 goals. It was just the Fremantle Dockers' inability to win the ball in the midfield often enough to supply their forwards on the way through. But all in all, it was just a comprehensive victory from the Carlton team, and they'll certainly celebrate in style tonight.
They are one of the best midfields in the competition. The numbers support that tonight, but even against quality opposition. Last week, I suppose, when we think about great working midfields, you often think about the Western Bulldogs, but they overcame that, admittedly, at Optus Oval.
Yeah, well, that's right. You know, interesting to see Jack get in there and sing the song. He's happy. But all in all, they were just very good all over the ground tonight. I thought the defence was good. Their midfield won easily, and their forward line structure worked extremely well. That's one thing Wayne Britton works on quite often, to make sure they get enough supply for their reward up the field and put some scoreboard pressure on the opposition. And they certainly did that tonight.
Now, this is one of the catchier ones, so pay attention. Voice. David Parkin right in the middle of it too. Coach Subiaco here in WA back in 1975, always a popular figure. And like Kevin Sheedy, when his back is to the wall, he produces. Meantime, doom and gloom at the moment for Damien Drum.